Hi, and welcome to this edition of In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. I'm Eric, Executive Director of WCTV. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of In Focus, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, maybe it's a Sunday morning and you're working out and you're listening to the audio on G1013 or their sister station, 1490 AM, 100.9 FM, ESPN Radio, WKBV. However you are checking us out, we do appreciate you taking the time to listen to us and hear us and watch us and figure out some of what's going on in the community. Got a couple of people, one I'm not sure I've had in this studio before in the 10 years we've done this show. How have you escaped?
I don't know. I'm a newbie. I'm pretty excited.
Patty Peterson is with us, the new, still, I guess you're still
Very
in that,
new.
that
4
new
months. Yep.
director of Every Child Can Read, Becky Jewison. We've had a chance to speak with you a couple of different times.
Definitely.
You are incredibly active in the community and with other organizations, but you're a board member for Every Child Can Read. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Before we get into what Every Child Can Read is all about, particularly since this is your first trip into the studio, let's get a little background on who we're talking to.
I'm Patty Peterson. I've been with Every Child Can Read for 4 months now. Prior to that, I've worked in similar roles in nonprofit leadership and development with Richmond Friends School as a development director and also at Girls Inc. For, I think it was there maybe 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have fun with both of those jobs? This one seems to be a little bit different than those.
I had a lot of fun. Girls Inc. I actually started was the first job after being a full-time mom for close to 20 years. And I just came in doing secretarial work, being the office manager and just kind of got an interest. I worked with 2 great executive directors, Beth Herrick and Laura Rutherford, and just grew in that role and really found a passion for nonprofit work and fundraising and development, working with donors. I went through a good amount of training at Lilly School of Philanthropy and just grew my interest with that. And then moved on, took a break for a while, and went on to Richmond Friends School, setting up a development office there and processes for them for, I think maybe 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
Nonprofit work is an interesting animal. What kind of brought you to it, and what keeps you in it?
You know, we are so fortunate in this community, is incredibly generous, and there are so many people that really have a passion for a variety of things. But we don't compete. I think the nice thing about our nonprofit network here in this community is really if you're interested in what I'm doing, I can fill you up and share ways to support that in this community. But if your passion is in cars or museums or whatever, I'd be happy to connect you with those nonprofit organizations, just trying to keep the funds in this community to help grow what we're doing. And I'm just honored to be a part of it. I think we're very unique in Wayne County to have the kind of support we do and the impact that these, we have a lot of nonprofits in this community. And I think we work well together.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Becky, again, I've had a chance to speak with you.
Yes.
You are involved with a couple of not-for-profits. Give us a little bit of background on yourself.
I'm retired, which is a good thing and a bad thing for nonprofits because you get very busy. But I was with Reed Health Foundation before retiring, and the one thing I wanted to do was something with literacy. So this fell into my lap. I happened to be related to Rick A. House, so that did not hurt. And it was a place that I said, hey, what can I do? Because like Patty said, you find your interests and that's where you go. And I was so excited to do that. I did a lot of nonprofit also before that. I helped start Stage 1 Youth Theater and worked with the theater a lot.
And they're going strong.
Yes, very proud of that. And then went to Reed, which I loved. Loved working in that place and getting to do so many wonderful things. So retirement became all about literacy and some other boards that I'm on also.
Mentioned literacy, Every Child Can Read. Talk a little bit about the history of that organization.
I'm hoping that I get this right. I believe in 2007 is when Rick Ahaus and Vic Josie were part of a group that saw this report come out across the nation that if children are not reading by third grade, they are going to struggle from then on. And they took it upon themselves to gather an amazing group of people to support a program that became the Third Grade Academy that fell under the umbrella of Every Child Can Read. And that was their main focus for several years, was to get that going. It was a very intense reading summer program,
Right.
Which started with about 100 kids and, took off from there. And not too many years after, they thought, we could start earlier. Let's begin with a kindergarten readiness group. And so that started a whole another program of getting books out to the community and for kids that age. And luckily for us, in about 2014, through the Wayne County Foundation, we received money to be the affiliate for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which serves 0 to 5-year-olds. And so they saw this need and luckily pushed these two very important programs to become Every Child Can Read. So we had an amazing start and are going great guns, we think, at this point.
The Reading Academy, Third Grade Reading Academy, still going on. Talk a little bit about that program, if you could.
Yeah, it's morphed a bit in that we now provide after-school tutoring. We call it the Reading Academy, and we focus on K through third grade. Really want our kiddos to be able to pass that literacy test at third grade, and the sooner we can help, the better. So the Reading Academy is now focused on K through third, and we partner with RCS. They the teachers identify the students who would benefit from a little extra support. And this is our first semester that we've had this really strong collaboration with RCS. They sent out, I don't remember how many, but we've had a response of 86 families have said yes, that we would like to participate. That the teachers sent out invitations. Nice. And said your child's been identified, would they like to do this? And then through another collaboration with the Boys and Girls Club and Girls Inc., we have after-school tutoring available at the units. So the schools provide the transportation there. We meet the kiddos, and based on their age, we'll meet with them, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it needs to be, individually or in small groups, and provide that support. The really cool thing is that we have this ongoing communication now between the tutors and the teachers to say, this is what we're seeing in the classroom, this is what we're seeing during tutoring. These are things that are improving. We're moving on to this now, so that there's not this separation of teachers doing one thing and tutors thinking, well, I see this need, I'm going to work on this. So this is our first semester. We're excited to look at the results afterwards to see the impact, but it's really neat to have that collaboration both with RCS and then with the clubs to provide that on site.
When you look at a program like that, particularly where you're providing tutoring in the school, talk about how you find those volunteers, how do you find those tutors, and are you seeing a need for more of them?
We are seeing a need for more. I mean, we've had a literally 900% increase in the number of students we're serving in this last semester because of this collaboration. And so our expectation is that our tutors are certified in the state of Indiana, and they are trained in the science of reading, which is the current curriculum that everyone is switching to, state required. And so this semester we've had a little struggle getting both of those, but we've met our need. We have at least 5 tutors working 5 days a week with kids, and then in order to help with that, we have volunteers partnered with every tutor. And that is just, some of them are retired teachers, some of them are just people that have a passion for wanting to help the kids, wanting to sit and read with them, wanting to play literacy games with them. The tutors come with the expertise. I'm not an educator, I'm a nonprofit leader. I know how to create the structure and the collaboration, but I can't provide that. So we really need our tutors to come in with the understanding of how to provide that support. And then our volunteers, we provide some guidance in games and certainly resources and strategies of ways they can provide that support. But our tutors really provide that guidance for us as well as for the volunteers of how to support those kids. And they are paid, that we pay our tutors for their time, and many of them are currently working in the schools. So after working all day in the classroom, then they work for another 2 or 3 hours after school with us, which is astounding. But their energy and excitement is amazing. They do what they love and love what they do, it's clear.
The wonderful thing too is how we've always said we were working with 0 through about 9-year-olds,
Yeah.
but we've really expanded to really include all those ages
Yeah.
and try to make a bigger difference earlier than waiting until it's not
Till
happening.
it's a problem,
Yeah.
right.
So I feel personally very excited about our future and what we're doing for all of these kids.
That's a nice expansion to be able to go into the classroom. And I'm sure the teachers who always feel like a little bit more help for some students, I'm sure that there's been an appreciation from them for what you all are trying to do also in the classroom.
Yeah, I'm excited for after this semester is over to get back and talk with RCS, and each school has a literacy coach, and just see we have ongoing conversations, but just to look at the end results and the impact of how that collaboration worked, so that we can continue to improve next semester. We'll have programs during summer that will be modeled similarly to this, but then when school starts again, we'll start this partnership up with that communication between the teachers and the tutors again.
The Reading Academy has generally been a summer intensive program. Will that change based on what you all are doing now, or will that summer intensity still continue?
It's grown, so we will continue with our summer work, partnering with RCS, partnering with the Boys and Girls Club and Girls Inc., hopefully soon with Townsend Center and Y-Care, of going where the kids are to provide that support, and then in the after-school program. So we've grown to cover both, not just the summer, but also in the after school. And that really focuses on the after we do our work with 0 to 5-year-olds in the K-Ready program, this is really the area that has grown with our kindergartners to 3rd graders.
Nice. You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're spending time with Becky Jewison, Patty Peterson, with Every Child Can Read. Reading, particularly, and we mentioned the summertime, has been something that through the years has been a part of a number of different reading programs. My girls very much like to read. They got involved in reading programs at the library when they were coming up. You all are kind of bringing something like that back. I'm only going to be able to get so much information out of you, even though I'm going to try to get all of it. I know I'm not. Talk a little bit about what's happening in April 25th, 26th. You've got a community book fair in the Depot District, and you're going to be kicking off something. Talk a little bit about this.
Well, I'll start with book fair.
Okay.
This came about, it's really exciting to me because we were sitting in a meeting thinking, what can we do in the community to offer them that really represents us? And a scholastic book fair came out of that, and we all went, who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
And so we are having a scholastic community book fair in the Depot the weekend of April 25th and 26th. And it's going to be not just books for little kids, it's going to be really through adult. You can find a book and shop, and as parents, as grandparents, as caregivers, whatever. And we just knew this represented us. So that's the first piece, and we will get to do that. And through Scholastic, of course, you're able to get so many books, depending on, how many books are bought, etc. We will then benefit from all of that.
And there's fiction,
And
nonfiction, it's some of everything.
Everything that you could possibly want. So we're quite excited about the people who are helping us. The whole Depot District is going to get involved with some giveaways and goodie bags for everyone. And we're just excited that that's going to be, just a fun weekend moment for us to ask everyone to come, the whole community. But it also is going to be a kickoff for something that we're excited about. I'll let Patty take this one away.
Oh.
And it's called our Wayne County Reads, and we can't wait.
So the book fair supports what we're doing K through 0 with providing more books. Sorry, 0 to kindergarten,
That's
0
all
to
right.
5, by providing more books. And then the other piece is the Wayne County Reads, where we will be providing books, a particular book, can't tell you what, that we will, of course, that we will announce on the 24th. We'll have that evening we'll have an event, and the 25th and 26th at the book fair, you can come in and pick up your free book. So this will be a book that is for the families to read, or early readers, a little more experienced readers, not early readers, but it'll be an interesting book that has lots of exciting dynamics, community dynamics, social, all kinds of things to talk about. And we're partnering with the county libraries, so they will have, the books will be available at every county library as well. So if you're in Hagerstown, you can go to your county library, or Cambridge City, and get your free copy of the book, and hopefully pass that around to everybody. And we will have some available in Spanish as well, so that our Spanish language speakers can participate. Right. And it will just grow. This is our first year that we just have had a few months to prepare. We're getting together collaboration through several local organizations, and then each year I think we will just grow this. And then we hope at the end of the summer we'll have a final celebration that we're still working the kinks out. So I don't want to say too much. Hopefully it works.
Yes, hopefully.
But yeah, we'll provide the books, and there'll be activities throughout the summer, and then right before school starts, we'll have a wrap up of the event.
Will there be discussion groups at the libraries or something as this is going on during the summer? Everybody's reading the book, and you mentioned that there'll be some good talking points. Will you gather the community in various places to talk a little bit about what they're reading, what they're seeing, and what their thoughts are?
Well, I think we would love to be able to do that. I think we have decided that we're starting a little smaller by making sure when everybody picks up a book, they'll also pick up a bookmark. And through that, they can go to surveys, they can go to questions, they can have their own kind of book club discussions in their family. If we have the time and it allows us to, we're still in the, like you say, in the talking stage of what we can accomplish for this first one. But I think we will offer through social media. There'll be all kinds of fun questions of the week and all kinds of things that we hope will help these young readers and their families discuss the themes of this book. We've already talked about our second book, which we'll have more time to really focus on doing exactly that for the second year. And we'll kick it off again, at the same time next year, and get ready, and really hope to have a lot of things going on in the libraries, at the Two Sisters bookshop, different places like that. But this time we just want to remind people that we can do this, and this is going to be our thing. This is going to be Every Child Can Read's annual offering to the county to get everybody talking and reading and and just thinking about literacy.
And this is something that has happened in the community in the past. It's been a while,
Correct.
obviously. The pandemic kept people away from each other for a while, and some other things coming back around. The excitement of this has got to be growing a little bit. I'm sure the libraries are incredibly happy that there'll be more people probably coming in.
Hopefully,
I know
yes.
a couple of them have done some renovations on their libraries
Yes.
over the last few years, so it'll be good. And the author of the book, and the name of the book is?
Oh boy!
Okay.
Excitement.
Nice try.
Community Book Fair in the Depot, April 25th and 26th. I'll try that one more time later. Friday from 12 to 7, Saturday from 10 till 4. Proceeds helping with Every Child Can Read in Wayne County. You mentioned the Dolly Parton Imagination Station. Talk a little bit about that, because again, that's not something that everybody has where they have been. We know people have moved into the community a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how that's come about and what you feel the impact of that has been.
The Dolly Parton Imagination Library is a core piece of our 0 to 5-year-old age group. And we are so fortunate to be partners in that we have been a part of the Imagination Library for 10 years now. And during that time, we have reached almost 60. We're at 58% of meeting the number of 0 to 5-year-olds. So Dolly Parton, in this collaboration, they ship out books once a month to everybody that's signed up. We facilitate registering our local kids that are in that age group and pay to participate in that. And we have currently a agreement with the state that pays for half of that. So it costs Wayne County about $60,000 to provide books to every 0 to 5-year-old once a month until their 5th birthday. And so currently the state is paying half of that, so we pay 30 and they pay 30 about. And there's a chance that is up for discussion in the budget right now. It's currently not in the budget. We're hoping that changes.
I know the governor has asked his wife to kind of step
Yes.
in and
Yeah.
try to lead
Yes.
that,
Yes.
raising some funds to put
Yeah.
that back in the budget.
Right, so there's a temporary short-term solution of helping with that, which is amazing because this clearly has an impact in our community. And there's so much research about the importance of early literacy, not just literacy, but exposure to words, to language. The number of words that you hear impacts the number of your understanding in when you're older. And so getting those books into homes at an early age, even if the parent might not be able to read in English, if the books are in English or read in general, they can still tell the stories. And learning those words and the correlation of that is the stepping stone to becoming a reader when you get into kindergarten. And so having those books available at an early age is so important. And we have been so fortunate in Wayne County that we have grown to almost 60%, and our goal is to get to that 60%. But the number of kids, that's 3,000 kids in our county that receive a book every month that build that. So we're hoping that we get a long-term permanent solution that we can continue to collaborate with the state in providing that, not just in Wayne County, but in every county. We're fortunate that that we're at that level. We've been doing it for 10 years, but those that have just started, it's a challenge. Yeah.
One of the other things, and we've got about 4.5 minutes or so left in this conversation. I know one of the things also that you all do, I get from going through people's websites, a book to every child during their first year when they go to a doctor visit. How close am I to that?
Isn't that
exactly
amazing?
right.
It's another collaboration that we have with Read Health. And so part of the first collaboration is in the maternity unit. When children are born, we help, the hospital helps get them enrolled in Dolly Parton Imagination Library. The next step is during their well visits at any Reed office and others, Neighborhood Health Center, and a couple of other clinics that we partner with. Every time they come in for their well visit between birth to 2, which is 11 visits, they will receive an age-appropriate book for that child. So it's, again, just helping to build that personal library, having access to books, and building that language.
Well, and we call it RX for reading, because, there's a whole movement across, the country that doctors firmly believe this is part of their health, that learning to read and getting them books and making sure that they have that as, it's just part of coming to a well visit, that we are able to do that. So it's another exciting program, and everybody supports it wholeheartedly.
I'm going to throw one on the table that we hadn't talked about before, but talk about where the adult literacy piece comes in. You mentioned maybe not being able to read the book for one reason or another, whether it's a language barrier or maybe you just didn't learn how to read as a parent. Talk about how we begin to move that forward also, because a lot of kids do learn to read or need to learn to read at home, and they need to hear those words from the parents.
Right. So just the time speaking together is the first step for the children to learn. Hearing words, learning words, and then, looking at the books and seeing colors and seeing letters and being able to name those. We do have, I don't know what the percentage is, but we do have a high illiteracy rate in our community. Those parents can continue to support their child's learning by telling the story of the book, even if they can't read the words. Sharing the language is having the number of words that by 2 years old, by 3 years old. That is when the development is happening. By 5 years old, 90% of your brain is developed. And if you've heard 100 words as opposed to 100,000 words, that's going to impact your ability to learn. So,
sent a nice slide that reading 20 minutes a day, you've got 3 students. One reads 20 minutes a day, one reads 5, one reads 1, and it goes through how many words they hear. And we'll have that one up on the screen for people to be able to see that. We've got about a minute and a half left, a little bit less. I want you all to once again talk about the 25th, 26th, and what's happening that weekend. Where do we start?
Oh, well, we're again excited because the book fair itself, we're actually having a Thursday evening kind of family and friends preview kickoff.
That's the 24th.
On the 24th.
And we'll announce the book then.
Yes. And
we'll have them there for pickup.
We will. They'll begin to, take the books. There'll be a big sign, Eric. If you want to come by, you can see the book that night. So, and then that just leads us right into to the weekend. We're excited. Kix 96 is going to come with a live remote and get everybody
Who
ready.
doesn't love a book fair?
I know.
I mean, memories
Who
of
doesn't?
childhood, going with your class, and only being allowed to pick one poster was challenging.
And they have a wonderful thing that they do called Share the Fair. And as you check out, or if you want to do a little bit more, you can, someone can do that by rounding up or giving a little bit extra just to help us get more books to give to the kids in Wayne County.
And
Community
every piece
book fair.
will, every piece will provide books for the rest of the year for our tutoring, for our kids.
Nice. Community Book Fair in the Depot, 24th, kickoff, April 25th, 26th, Friday 12 to 7, Saturday 10 to 4, Lotus Hall and Events, 185 Fort Wayne Avenue in the Depot District. It sounds like it's going to be a great time. Hopefully we'll get a camera down there and figure it all out. Patty, Becky, thank you very much for being here. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Eric. Thank you.
Thank you for watching In Focus. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Know what's below. When planting flowers, a garden, or doing any type of digging on your property, RP&L wants you to call 811 before you dig. Electric, gas, water, sewer, cable lines, and more may be in your yard. Don't take the risk of digging blindly. It's free, only takes a few minutes, and can prevent inconvenient service outages, expensive repair bills, serious injury, or even death. That's why calling 811 before you dig is Indiana law. Know what's below.
My name is Beth Treaster, and I am one of the Wayne County Master Gardeners. There's a whole team of us. We've been well trained by Jonathan Ferris, the county extension agent in Wayne County. And today we're having our first class episode, whatever you want to call it, here with WCTV, which is a real privilege for me. We love to share about gardening. Today, as a starting point, we're going to look at a typical home in Richmond. We're standing here in the front yard of a standard suburban home in Richmond. But what we're going to talk about would apply to old and new houses. Let's just start around this house and ask ourselves the question as we go. If this family that lives here wanted to grow vegetables, where could they put them? Okay, right away we come to shade. Well, we have ruled out this side of the house. The very first criteria for growing food is sun, ideally full sun. You can grow a lot of things in partial shade, but generally not food. There are a few fruits that will make it. But if you're going to grow vegetables, especially those tomatoes that everybody loves, you need full sun. So we're going to rule out the north side of this house. This is kind of northwest, isn't it? This house is at an angle. So we're going to walk into the backyard, and we see a much more likely situation for growing food. Full sun. Now, the owner of this home has already made some investments in this. And in another one of our episodes, we're going to talk about where to put beds and whether to raise your beds or not. But we can see just by looking that this is a good location. Most of it. There's one part over here which is full sun, but it's got a slope. Can you see that slope over there? You could plant something there, but you would be constantly dealing with the erosion. As soon as the grass were removed from this area, the soil would wash down. And especially since it's higher behind, we can imagine that a lot of rain comes this way. This area needs to stay sod covered or it will erode. So we're going to rule out this side, this southeast side of this house, and it's too sloped. You could fit some vegetables here, but again, the water travels in a course here. This would probably be very wet. Could be good in a dry year, but could also be a problem if it's like the rains that are coming this week. Also, this side already has some very attractive ornamentals. Now, you could put some vegetables in between those if you wanted to. But let's come back to the front yard, which is almost full sun. At least this side of the yard is full sun. Now, I want to make something real clear. There may be somebody watching this who says, you can't grow vegetables in your front yard. You know, you can. You really, really can. And I wanted to be sure I didn't get anybody in trouble. So I talked to the Department of, Infrastructure and Development. A very helpful lady named Monica talked me through the Richmond City Code. And it's quite clear that you are permitted to grow vegetables in your front yard in this city. Now, I'm not talking about HOAs. We'll get to HOAs in a minute. Right now I'm talking about what the city says. The city says, well, 3 criteria. You cannot grow plants in a place that will be in the right-of-way. And that usually means between the sidewalk and the street. You cannot grow something that's going to infringe on your neighbor. Now I've done it, but if my cucumber vine goes over the fence into my neighbor's yard, I just give him the cucumbers. It's not a problem. Now this is the third one, and when I was talking to Monica, she kept bringing this up as like a theme. The city's perspective is grow anything as long as you maintain it. And there's the key. Vegetables can be just as pretty as daylilies or roses. It's all in how you take care of them. And it's particularly attractive when you blend flowers and vegetables. At my house, I have the neat grass strip. People see that first, and it's mowed. So they know, oh, there's a house that's being taken care of. Next to the grass strip, I have flowers. Oh, beautiful flowers. After the flowers is vegetables. And most people don't even notice them. The people who do are like, wow, that's cool. My neighbors are always walking by and commenting. So you really are free to grow in your front yard. HOAs, though, may have other rules. Don't think that you can't just because you live in a neighborhood with an HOA. They all have different guidelines, and those guidelines are changing. If it says no vegetables in the HOA rules, you can maybe just go make a case that you would like to try it, and you will keep it neat, and they may say fine, because times are changing. I read that, for an example, one lady in an HOA in the state of Maryland took it all the way to the state legislature, and it's now a law in Maryland that they can't make you grow grass in your front yard. So there's a lot more consciousness of we can grow vegetables, we can grow pollinator plants. This turf grass, yeah, it's pretty, yes, it's great for the kids to play on, but it's not near as valuable as food and plants that help our environment. So a couple other fine points about where would you grow vegetables? Near water, if you possibly can. It's no fun dragging hoses to the far corner of your yard. And remember, it doesn't have to be a big space. Gardens now are not like some of us remember from childhood, where you worked up a great big area with a big tiller or a plow, and you had room to walk between the rows. Now you just need the space to plant the vegetables. You'll still walk around the vegetables, you don't walk in the vegetables. So it doesn't need to be a big space. Really, any yard in Richmond could make a place for vegetables. And we'll talk in further sessions about how you can get started with that. All right, one last point too. I wanted to say this is a newer house, so you probably don't have to worry about lead. But if you live in an older property, you don't want to put your vegetables right up next to the house. There will be lead in the soil. And also, if you live on a very busy road, there will be lead on the soil. Like, I would not put a garden on 40. But see, still, there's a lot of possibilities here. It's been great to share this with you today. I'm Beth Treester again. I'm with the Wayne County Master Gardeners, part of Purdue Extension, and we look forward to sharing more of our fun that we have with gardening.
Hi, I'm John Duke with Wayne County Emergency Management. Spring weather is here. For the most current local updated information, we encourage everyone to sign up for public alerts through Nixle. The easiest way to sign up for Nixle is text 888-777 in the to field of a text message, and then enter your zip code in the body and hit send. For the most current information, whatever the situation may be, we encourage the public to sign up.
champions. Ball game!
And with that announcement and a press conference that was held last Saturday, March 29th at McBride Stadium, the announcement that baseball will be back, summer baseball will be back in Richmond, not this summer. We still have to wait one more year, but the summer of 2026 brings collegiate baseball back to Richmond, Indiana, into McBride Stadium, a hallowed venue around. And we were not able to make the press conference, but we do have a chance to speak with Matt Bomberg, who is the managing partner for Richmond Baseball LLC. Matt, thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Talk to me a little bit about your background in baseball. We always want to start by letting our viewers and listeners know who it is I'm talking to. So provide me with some of your backstory.
Yeah, for sure. I think you can see behind me some of my things that are up. I grew up in Minnesota. I spent 6 years with the St. Paul Saints. That's kind of where I got started. Went down to Florida for a couple of years, worked for Twin Spring Training and the Fort Myers Miracle, and then had the opportunity to come back up to the Midwest to Green Bay. My wife's from Green Bay originally, and I spent 2 years in the Northwoods League as GM of the Green Bay Bullfrogs, and then moved on to the league office in 2012, and I've been with the league office since then. I'm currently the president of our Great Lakes division. So yeah, a little bit of jumping around a little bit, but yeah, exciting for sure.
Talk to me a little bit about your love of baseball, because to be in it as long as you've been, you obviously love the game. Did you start playing as a kid? Did you play in high school, college? What got you to this point?
Yeah, for sure. I grew up, baseball was my favorite sport. Grew up at a great time when the Twins were winning World Series there in '87 and '91. Played baseball all the way up through high school, then some, men's league type stuff and that afterwards. But yeah, never really was sure what I wanted to do, but I wanted to work in sports. And, there became an opportunity. Sport management wasn't really a thing when I first started in school, but I got an opportunity to work for a company called Dorner USA doing the rotational signage behind the plate at the Metrodome with the Twins. And then that kind of springboarded into my role with the Saints, and, just kind of continued on, and I kind of created a role for myself. But yeah, baseball has always been kind of my love, and being able to now side of it and learn, how that all works, from learning how to sell and how to run a team, and now being involved with the league and overseeing 24 teams in the Northwoods League. We've got teams that spread from Michigan all the way across to North Dakota. We've got a team up in Thunder Bay, Ontario. So yeah, it's a very interesting kind of brand of baseball that we play.
Talk to us a little bit about the Northwoods League, collegiate, wooden bat. What type of schedule are we looking at? Where do you draw your players from? Are they mostly D1, D2? Talk to us a little bit about what we might see.
Yeah, for sure. So Northwoods League, we're going into our 32nd season here in 2025. Like I said before, we have 24 teams currently. We spread across, we're Michigan, Indiana, Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, Canada. It is predominantly a lot of Division I players. Some are collegiate wood bat, but we get players from all over the country. Operates, you can, there's really good players at the D3 level, D2, JUCO, and AIA. So yeah, they come from everywhere pretty much. We were sitting at the championship game last year, and a guy came in from a D3 type school, and he was throwing 95 miles an hour. So these guys come from all over the place, but yeah, they come in for the summer. They stay with host families. It's all really cool. But yeah, they're college players. They're looking to develop, get drafted. We get about 100 guys a year that get drafted out of the league, either current or guys that had played in the league. And then we've had over 370 guys go on to play Major League Baseball as well to make it all the way up. Guys like Curtis Granderson played in our league, Pete Alonso, Max Scherzer, Chris Sale. The list just goes on and on. We just had three of our alums debut on opening day last week in Major League Baseball. Kind of the highest is Christian Campbell, who played in Duluth and debuted with the Red Sox, and he just actually signed a crazy extension too for his contract. So yeah, it's high level elite baseball. So the play on the field is phenomenal, but it's also all the other stuff that we do off the field.
Talk about some of the other stuff you do off the field. Obviously, it's going to be a fun fan experience is what you all want to bring. There'll be another generation of youth that get to watch dizzy backspin races or whatever it is that you all do in between innings. But also, there's a culture that these teams have brought into the Richmond and surrounding areas. Talk a little bit about what you're hoping to do from a community standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. Community is a big part of the Northwoods League and what our teams do in their communities and what they can bring to the community as well. You talk about the baseball, it's a lead, that's one thing that it's turned into, but it's all the other stuff. It's the family, affordable, fun, the entertainment. We're in essence, we're an entertainment organization. That's what we're about. To be able to come out to the ball game 2.5 hours or so and be able to, for $25, get a ticket and all you can eat and drink food and, just have a good time with your family. It's more about, walking out and enjoying that. And we don't care, who won or lost. It's if they had a good time. And, that's what we're more about. But yeah, all the Dizzy Bat, the different races or promote that has never been in Richmond. Our brand, Northwoods League Baseball and Entertainment, has never been there. So obviously you had the Great Lakes, you had some independent ball before that, which, the Roosters did a phenomenal job in bringing baseball back to McBride and what that facility is now. We're going to benefit from that. And, John Cate and his group back in the day and what they've done. So, we're excited about that. But yeah, community is a huge part of what our teams do, and we will be out there in the community. You'll know we're there, and we're very excited for that part, and so is our ownership group.
Let's go there since you led me to that point. Talk a little bit about the ownership group of this particular team. You are the president and managing partner, but there are multiple people. You work for the league. I think the league commissioner is part of the ownership. So talk about that group. And also, if you would, talk a little bit about why Richmond and this area fits with the Northwoods League.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, our ownership group obviously is myself, Ryan Vaz, who is the president and commissioner of the Northwoods League. He also owns our team in Wilmer, Minnesota. He's been in the league for over 20 years. Another gentleman over this way, I live in Michigan right now, Eli Bayless. He lives in the Detroit area. He worked for the Detroit Lions and Detroit Tigers. He's got a long career in PR. He's one of our partners. We have another gentleman in the Wisconsin area, Chris Nelson, who owns Nelson Media. So they're a video production company. He also owns some small town newspapers. Jared Vasilakis is a lawyer. He lives in the Chicago area, and he's also an MLBPA certified agent. And then we also have our who people will remember is Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite. He's currently on The White Lotus. He plays Greg or Gary, depending on what season you're in. So yeah, that's kind of our ownership group, and we're really excited, about that group because we kind of put it together that way of each of us having some different experience and different skills that we can bring to the team and to help, grow the team, from Chris on a video standpoint, and Jared obviously with a background in law, and then Eli PR, and John really is excited about the community aspect, from if it's concerts, if it's movie screenings. He currently goes around with Efren Ramirez and John Hader from Napoleon Dynamite. They show the movie, then they talk about it afterwards. So things like that. John's a musician as well, so we're excited about some of the community things we can do at the ballpark as well, and ways that we can give back.
You're watching In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11, or maybe you're watching this on our Facebook page or off of our YouTube channel. However you are watching the In Focus program this week, we appreciate you spending some time with us. I'm Eric, and I'm having a chance to speak with Matt Bomberg, who is the president and managing partner of Richmond Baseball LLC. That's the best we can do right now. The team doesn't actually have a name, so let's go there. Matt, talk to me about what that process for a team name is going to be like. Is that something you all decide? Are you doing a survey in the community? Are you going to tie it to something that fits in the area? How has that been done for other teams in the league?
Yeah, for sure. We're really excited about that part of what we're doing here, and being in Richmond too. Kind of going back to an earlier question about why Richmond, also, before I kind of get into some of that. But, Richmond is a perfect fit for the Northwoods League. It's a perfect population size. You don't find many ballparks like McBride Stadium either anymore. And to have that 736 WPA era ballpark is pretty cool to be able to operate in, and our partnership with the school district. So Richmond's a great fit for the league, geography-wise. But yeah, the Name the Team contest is something that we will do. We'll launch our website probably in June. And at that time, we'll start a Name the Team contest for fans to submit names and, see what kind of comes out of that. And then maybe the top 3 or 4 we'll do a vote on for the fans as well. So we'll kind of progress that through this summer. June, July with that. And then probably, I would say around October, we'll announce the actual team name, logos, and then really get ready for 2026. But yeah, we will take fan input and kind of see what comes out of that process. We've looked at the history of Richmond. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that's happened there, and there's some cool things for sure that we can work off of and play off of. But yeah, it will be a brand for sure that, people will, recognize, and kind of put together with Richmond. So it will make sense.
As you look at where this goes, right now, all of your ownership group are from outside of the area. Is that a norm in the Northwoods League, or do you all, as you build the teams a little bit in certain areas, try to find or work out something with more local ownership?
Yeah, it goes both ways. It depends on how it started. We've had teams that were started because an ownership group said, "Hey, we're interested in this market. We live here. We've got a ballpark, or we want to build a ballpark." So it's gone along that way, or it's gone the way that we've done it. So we worked league and our ownership group in hand with the school district to get a lease in place, and then I put this ownership group together. But yes, none of us live there. We will have staff members that will live there full time, year round, but they're just not there yet. But yeah, we will probably look to see who's out there that might be interested locally in some ownership percentage and see where that could go. We also have some things where some of our full-time staff may become owners as well, specifically our GM. So that's something that the Northwoods League can do and has done. Like Ryan Vaz, who is the president commissioner of the league. He started as an intern in the league, became a GM, worked his way up to owner. So yeah, it's an interesting process. And these teams, it's a major operation for sure. We're starting a small business. just like anything else. So yeah, it's a big deal, and to have some ownership percentage or something like that in a team, it's no small thing.
We're talking with Matt Bomberg, president and a managing partner of Richmond Baseball LLC. Baseball coming back to McBride Stadium in the summer of 2026. Looking forward to it. Matt, I've got about 90 seconds left. Tell me, maybe there's something I haven't asked you. What do you want the community to know that maybe we haven't talked about, or something you want to drop back in again?
Yeah, for sure. For us, it's really going to be something new. We're starting something brand new there in Richmond. The Northwoods League brand and the way that we do things is totally different than anything that's ever been there. Just looking at that promo video that we put out, you can kind of get an idea of how the league operates. Our team in Madison in the league draws over 6,000 fans a night. It's crazy. You saw Traverse City in that video. Their ballpark is beautiful. They do a similar thing. And then over here in Michigan, Kalamazoo, fabulous operation as well. A little smaller ballpark, but yeah, you can see that throughout those videos. Social media across the league, it'll give you a good idea of what the Northwoods League is all about and what we're going to do in Richmond as well. It won't be anything that's been there before.
Matt Bomberg, president, managing partner, Richmond Baseball LLC. We are excited to have baseball back in Richmond beginning in the summer of 2026. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today. We'll talk to you again when you're back in the area.
You bet. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching this week's In Focus on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. A special thanks to Beth Treaster with the Master Gardeners. We will talk to you again next week. Thanks for watching. As always, I wish you well.